Welcome to this video. Today we discuss quadratic equations, a quick recap of quadratic equations. Now we know what are polynomials. Polynomials are something which we express as components and variables where a power a subscript n, a subscript n minus 1 like that up to a0 or a1. We call it as consonants x power n, x power n minus 1, x power n minus 2, x power 1, x power 0, that is no x, that we call as variables. And when we have an algebraic expression of the consonants and variables like this, where a0 to an are real numbers and x takes one or more unique values, we call it as a polynomial. Now this polynomial had been in existence for thousands of years. The historians, the mathematicians believe it was invented somewhere in Babylon, somewhere around 3000 years ago before Christ. Now what is a linear polynomial? Linear polynomial has one and only one zero, where the maximum power of x or the x is x power 1 only. What is quadratic polynomial? Quadratic is x has a maximum of x power 2. So we have x squared plus something and it has maximum two zeros. That means what? For two different values of x, it can become 0 as the result. Maximum x can take two numbers and it will have for two different values of x, you will have a result as 0. Cubic polynomial is maximum you will have three zeros. That means what? The equation will give a result of 0 three times for three different values of x. In general, if x is to the power of n, then you will have n different unique solutions, or for n different values of x, you will have 0. This is in general about polynomials. What is a quadratic equation? A equation involving a single variable with a term having highest degree of 2. Quadratic means x is to the power of 2 is called a quadratic equation. An equation involving single variable with a term having highest degree of 2. X is only one variable, there is no more than x, there is no y, z, etc. Only x is the variable and x has the degree or a power of 2, then it is called a quadratic equation. In general, it is written as ax square x to the power of 2 bx plus c. There is only one x, there is no y or z. This is a quadratic equation, polynomial of a degree 2. Single variable, x is a single variable. Where a is non-zero, if a becomes 0, what will happen? X square will become 0. If x square becomes, what will happen? Only x to the power 1 remain. Then it means it is not a degree 2. It will not be a quadratic, but it will be a linear equation. Bx plus c equals to 0 is a linear equation. Ax square plus bx plus c is a quadratic equation, provided a is non-zero. In any polynomial, a, b, z are called real numbers and x is the variable. What is the highest exponent of a polynomial? Here it is 2. That is why it is a quadratic equation. A and b and c are real numbers and the highest exponent of the polynomial will say whether it is a linear or quadratic, etc. Here in quadratic it is 2. Now to check whether something is a quadratic equation or not, what do we do? First we write down the equation in the simplest form, make it as simple as possible. Then compare it whether does it look like x square with one constant, bx, x for one constant and c, x power 0, x power 1, x power 2. Like that can we split? And if we split, can we bring all to one side and write 0 as the other? And do we have the x square having a as non-zero, then it will be a quadratic. If the given equation follows the form of a quadratic, it is a quadratic equation. If then it is a quadratic equation, else it is non-quadratic equation. Right? This is how we check whether it is quadratic or not. If it is quadratic, then we can use the formulas to solve the equation. Why do we solve? We solve the equation saying all these components ax square plus bx plus 2 on the one side and 0 on the other side, so that we will know what possible values of x this equation will take. And then if it is x square quadratic, then it will have two values of zeros. If it is x power 3, it will have three values of zeros, which means x can take maximum three unique values, or in a quadratic, x can take maximum two unique values. How do we solve? We solve using factorization or quadratic formula. What is factorization? We represent the equation as a product of two linear factors. What is linear? Instead of x square, ax square plus bx plus c, if you have only bx plus c, it is a linear factor. So if we can express this as bx plus c and qx plus r, etc., if the equation can be expressed as a product of two linear factors, it is factorization. Then we equate each of the factor to 0 to get the desired roots. An equation whose degree is n will have n roots. So if the degree is 2, in a polynomial you will have degree n, in a quadratic you will have degree as 2, x power 2. It will have 2 roots. That means what? One can be called alpha, one can be called beta. Minus b plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac by 2a, or minus b minus root of b squared minus 4ac by 2a. This is plus or minus. One is plus, one is minus. That is why we have one alpha, one beta. That is possibility of two roots maximum in a quadratic equation. X can take a value minus infinity to plus infinity. Why? Because x is a variable and only ABC has to be real numbers. So when is x is between minus infinity to plus infinity, when a is greater than 0, the equation will have a minimum value. At what point? Where x is minus b by 2a. When a is less than 0, again at x equals to minus b by 2a, we have the maximum value. When a is greater than 0, we will have a minimum value. When a is less than 0, the equation will have a maximum value. X can vary from minus infinity to plus infinity. A, B, C are real numbers. And then we represent the equation as a product of two linear factors. And then by splitting the middle term, which is a middle term? Ax square plus bx is a middle term using the identity. This is a factorization method. Now another is a formula method. In a standard quadratic equation, the formula is ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. A is compulsorily non-zero and b has to be like this. B square minus 4ac is greater than 0. B square minus 4ac is greater than or equals to 0. Now, alpha and beta are called the roots, where x minus a into x minus b or x minus alpha into x minus beta equals to 0. This is what we said, expressing the equation in the form of linear equation instead of quadratic. So, suppose we can split it into factors of x minus a and x minus b, or x minus alpha and x minus beta, two linear factors, x minus alpha, x minus beta. If you are writing as x minus alpha, x minus beta, alpha and beta are the roots. If you are writing as ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0, a, b, c are real numbers, x power 2. This is quadratic. Right? X is only one variable in the equation and then x can take value minus infinity to plus infinity. So a and alpha and beta are the roots if x minus alpha into x minus beta equals to 0. What are these? These are linear factors. Right? For which equation? For this quadratic equation, x square plus bx plus c equals to 0. So the middle term is taken and split. Why we have this? How we have this? We have this because this is a square plus 2ab. We have the formula, right? So this is we are writing alpha plus beta in the middle term. Middle term b is split as alpha plus beta and c is alpha beta. So sum of the zeros, it will become 0, or the product is found when alpha plus beta equals to minus b by a and alpha beta equals to c by a. Alpha beta is c by a. This is a place where we will have the 0. We will have the 0 if alpha and beta are the roots and sum will be at minus b by a. Product will be at c by a, where alpha and beta are the roots. So what do we write for c? We write alpha beta. For b, we write alpha plus beta. Why? Because alpha plus beta is b by a. So this is b by a, and when this is, there is no a x square, right? A is not there. When a is not there, we write it as alpha plus beta. When a is there, we write minus b by a. So x square minus x into alpha plus beta equals to 0, where alpha plus beta is c and alpha plus beta is b, alpha beta is c. Alpha plus beta at the place where it is 0 will be minus b by a. So using this we can solve an equation. Take this example, x square minus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. Now what do we do? How do we solve this. Write the coefficient of x. What is coefficient of x? B. As a sum of two quantities whose product is equals to AC. Coefficient of x is B is written as something which will have alpha beta. C is alpha beta. Product should be alpha beta. Sum should be alpha plus beta. Sum should be B. Product should be C. Now we have minus 5 here. When you have two numbers which when added together alpha plus beta will be minus 5 and when product alpha into beta will be 6, that is minus 3 and minus 2. Minus 3 and minus 2, sum of those will become minus 5, product of those will become plus 6, minus 3 and minus 2. Coefficient of x is sum of alpha and beta, and C, the constant, is the product of alpha beta. So what happens? X square minus bx will become, this 5x can be written as minus 3 and minus 2, sum of two factors alpha and beta. So alpha plus beta, one is alpha is minus 3, beta is minus 2, like that we can split this 5, alpha beta is 6. Then again what happens? We have 3x, we have 2x. We can take x as a common, this will become x minus 3. So x into x minus 3 is this portion. And this is minus 2 into x minus 3. Minus 2 into x minus 3 is this portion. So we have x minus 3 as a common factor. So we have two factors, x minus 3 and x minus 2. What is x minus 3 and x minus 2? So x minus 3 and x minus 2 are the two factors. We get alpha and beta as 3 and 2. We get alpha and beta as 3 and 2 because of this factors, x minus 3 and x minus 2. Alpha into beta is 0. X minus a and x minus b we have, right? X minus alpha, x minus beta. So one is x minus alpha is x minus 3, x minus beta is x minus 2. Like this we can have. So it becomes 0. So from here we get this. This is why we say when we are solving an quadratic equation by formula, we remember that x square plus bx plus c equals to 0, a has to be non-zero, and this b can be written as alpha plus beta, c can be written as alpha beta, and also x minus alpha into x minus beta equals 0. By using this equals to 0 and using this equals to 0 and by knowing b equals to alpha plus beta and c equals to alpha beta, we can find the values of alpha and beta. These are the values which when substituted for x you will get the equation resolved to 0. That is why we call those as zeros. Alpha and beta are called the roots. And these roots which take the equation to 0 are, when they are added you get minus b by a, when the product you will get c by a. Now b square minus 4ac is called the discriminant denoted by d. B square minus 4ac, here also we have minus b plus or minus b square minus 4ac root of by 2a. Why root of? Root of because x square is this, so x will be square root of this. Where do we get this from? We get by solving this, by writing, substituting for x some other value and finding out what could be the x. So b square minus 4ac, if it is greater than 0, then roots are real and distinct. Roots are real and distinct. If b square minus 4ac equals to 0, then they are equal and real. Both are the same. You have alpha and beta as the same. If it is less than 0, then there is no real root. Does not exist. Real root does not exist. What exists then? Complex conjugates exist. Complex conjugates exist. Real root does not exist when b square minus 4ac is less than 0. Why? When you put b square minus 4ac as less than 0, then we cannot take a square root. And that non-square root you will have to do one plus or minus. So that is why it is. When it is greater than 0, there are two possibilities. One, it is a perfect square, one not a perfect square. Perfect square means what? You can take a square root. 2 square is 4. So 4 is a perfect square. You can have a square root as a 2. But 5, you cannot take a square root of 5. So when it is perfect square, you have real, rational, unequal answers. Unequal alpha, unequal beta. Alpha and beta not equal. When it is not a perfect square, you have real, irrational and unequal. It is irrational. The number is not rational. Alpha and beta are not rational. Here alpha and beta are rational. What are rational numbers? We have 1, 2, 3 natural number. When you add 0, when you have a positive or negative, we have real number, rational number, irrational number, whole number, all these number system we have studied. So when b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, we have real, rational, unequal alpha and beta. When b squared minus 4ac is not a perfect square, we have real, irrational and unequal alpha and beta as the roots that solve the quadratic equation. Now, x squared minus a squared greater than 0 means x can take any value minus a and plus a in between. If x squared minus a square is greater than 0, is between zeros, then what will happen is it will take minus a to plus a. It can also say a will take a value between minus a and plus a, x will lie between minus a and plus a. This is x is less than equals to minus a, x is greater than equals to minus a, or minus a is less than x is less than a, or minus a is less than equals to x and less than equals to a. So it can be less than or equals to, it can be less than, or it will be less than minus n plus than minus a, it will never be equals to a. These are the possibilities for the values of a, based on which x square minus a square is positive or negative or less than 0 or greater than 0. A plus b plus c should be all real numbers ideally. If they are equal to 0, then roots are 1 and c by a. Roots are 1 and c by a. Root will be 1 if a plus b plus c is 0. This is another deduction of the quadratic equations. Now, the quadratic equation can be solved not only by factorization, not only by formula, but also by graph. We normally get a parabola. We plot x and y, the values in a graph, and then we usually get a parabola. The parabola may or may not meet the x-axis. If it meets, it can meet once or twice, right? When px square plus qx equals to r is 0, px square qx plus r, ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, then we can have two possibilities. One is y equals to px square. This is y. This is one portion. This is a linear portion. Qx plus r is a linear portion. If you take it to the other side, r will become minus r plus qx will become minus qx. So y equals to minus qx plus r. Px square equals to minus qx plus r. So px square equals to minus qx minus r will mean y equals to minus qx minus r or y equals to px square. When y equals to px square, this is a quadratic equation because x is to the power of 2, variable is to the power of 2. So this will become a parabola. Y equals to px square will become parabola. If you put x as 1, then y will become p. When you put x as 2, then y will become 4p. When you put x as 3, y will become 9p. So this is how you can plot as a parabola. Then y equals to minus qx minus r is a straight line. When x is 1, minus q minus r. When x is 2, minus 2q minus r. When x is 3, minus 3q minus r. So this will be a straight line. So when this parabola and the straight line are drawn on the same graph, the graph will touch the x-axis only at one point if it is a proper quadratic equation. Then the roots are real and equal. If it touching only at one point, then roots are equal and real. When does not meet, when the parabola does not meet, then you have a complex roots. But if it touches x-axis at 2 points, meets the x-axis, a parabola meets the x-axis at 2 points, which is the usual situation in a quadratic. Why 2 points? Because x can take maximum 2 values. Then real and distinct. If it takes 2 different values, it is real and distinct. So this is how, using the parabola and a straight line, drawing the graph y equals to minus qx minus r and y equals to px squared, we solve this equation. To solve that equation, we take some 6 values. What are the 6 values? Minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3 and 0 for x. So for all the 7, we have 7 different values for y. For 7 different values for y and x is in x-axis, y is in y-axis, we plot for the 7 values a parabola and a straight line. And then we get the solution of wherever the straight line and the parabola meets, there we have the solution for x and y. This is how we use the graphical method to solve. So this is in general recap of the quadratic equation.